Ever since I was young, I've lived in a family that was very emotionally retarded. By retarded, I mean stunted. It's hard to have any conversation in this family about mental illness, unhappiness, puberty, growing into adulthood, because my parents didn't want me to leave home. They actually sabotaged any attempt of employment, getting out of the home, creating my own life, and they never supported when I moved around, unless it was to move back. So, living in my family, I decided to go to therapy about 3 years ago. I think it's come April of 2026, it'll be 3 years. And I learned that the dynamics in my family were extremely toxic, very toxic, unhealthy, narcissistic. And I learned how to recognize this behavior. Unfortunately, growing up in these environments can cause people to develop emotional disorders. One of the biggest ones I have is depression. Now, I will not blame my depression on my family because it's just your body not working the way it's supposed to. Just like an autoimmune condition. Somehow, the way the brain is supposed to work, some things don't work right. And that's why you have depression. You can't cure depression just like you can't cure schizophrenia and bipolar. It's just something you endure your entire life. But if you're in therapy, you can find ways where the enduring can become thriving. And I've learned that my depression can be exacerbated dealing with toxic behavior in my family. I can also alleviate some of the worst parts of depression by getting an emotional support group, setting boundaries, setting goals, and moving toward something that I either enjoy or a path in life that I'm trying to pursue. When I told my family that I was depressed from 18 to 21, this would have been about 2012 to 2016. My mother's response was, "Oh." Then she changed the subject and has never talked about it again. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I knew my parents would ghost me because when I said I was depressed and suicidal for 4 years, they offered no comfort. They didn't ask if I was okay, if I needed help, was I getting help, did I have a support group? They didn't even say anything about, if it ever gets bad or uncomfortable, call us any time of the day or night. They never did. It was like an inconvenience. And then they never talked about it again. And I kind of knew coming out was going to be like that. I think everyone in my family has some kind of emotional avoidant behavior. And honestly, I don't care enough about my family to ever wonder or get any additional information. That's their problem. And people out there who suffer with depression, luckily I don't have suicidal thoughts anymore. And my level of suicidal thoughts was, I just wish I wasn't here today. I never thought about how, when, and why. That was the extent. If acting on it is a 9 or a 10, I was a 1 or a 2. So I wasn't anywhere near thinking of doing anything about it. It was the, I'm in pain, take an aspirin kind of thing. I wish I wasn't here so I wouldn't feel like this. But it was never anything more than just a 2-second thought that flashed through my head. But there are people out there. And my sister knew someone in Sunday school like 20 years ago that had done it 5 times. And if you ever have that thought come through your mind, regularly or seldomly, go and get psychological help. A sign of strength is knowing something's wrong, knowing you can't handle it alone, and finding someone who can help. And depression is something that has to be managed. You have to find ways to